I think someone did try to count the number of monkey channels from Cambodia out there a while ago. There were between 200 to 300 then. And we were talking from at least a good 8 to 10 months ago. I am sure there are now more, for I have noticed whenever something like a mishap happens, like a mother gone missing, a baby got injured or a baby needing rescue, at least a dozen new channels would pop up at the same time, featuring the same event, though shot from a slightly different angle. And every single time so far, we never got to see what had happened leading to the event, but without fail we all got to see the aftermath. It just seems like there is some strange synchronicity happening out there with the filming. All the involved cameramen always arrive and begin shooting the action at the same time. Now a mishap seems to happen almost every other week. You go count the number of channels out there for me. This explosion of that many Cambodian monkey channels in such a short time has intrigued many people. A viewer had referred this investigative video from another YouTuber, Alec Armbuster, to me. It offers a few fresh perspective, but I do find some of the conclusions like steganography a bit far-fetched.
If I got anything wrong or you found something new, please leave a comment below. I think it's time we have a dialogue about this. And most importantly, if there is something bigger hidden here,
I really don't think these videos are conduits for carrying anything more unpleasant secretly. I am pretty sure the money one could get from ads is one of the big reason, if not the sole one. Remember what happened in early 2018 when all of a sudden, the 30 to 40 Cambodian channels operating all ceased to update like they should with 5 to 10 videos a day before. Some even abandoned their well-established channels with thousands upon thousands of subscribers to start from scratch all over again. But they soon stopped even these attempts. In fact, I remember there were no new videos at all for a good week at the end. And it turned out that they were demonetized, that is no more ad money, just like the rest of many YouTubers experienced around the globe at that time. YouTube had stopped putting ads on many channels until their contents had been vetted to be safe for viewing. Previously, anyone could upload anything and started earning money right away, but not anymore. And so they all stopped making any more videos. I think that was a much-needed respite for many of these semi-urbanized long-tailed hanging around along the road leading to the famous ruins of Angkor there. They were constantly cornered and videoed by at least a dozen of cameramen, and increasing daily for a good 18 months already. And we also saw at first hand the dire consequence of roadkill for desensitizing the babies to the road too early in life. Previously these cameramen denied that there had ever been any roadkill of monkeys on that busy road, but it changed when it happened with the first roadkill, Holly, in summer 2017. Since that happened, I think 6 more were killed on that road in that summer of 2017 alone. And the babies all killed were mostly those featured in their videos on a daily basis, feeding and teasing them right by the road. But they were definitely responsible for teasing the monkeys there needlessly and sometimes cruelly, though, to create drama. Like giving squirt guns to kids to shoot at the monkeys.
Hả? Mạnh sao?
Or just being plain cruel and think it's entertaining. One particular bad offender was the owner of the channel Fish Wildlife, as he had tons of videos pitting monkeys with kittens, puppies, chicks, ducklings. He had since deleted most of those videos after the adpocalypse, but that didn't help to bring back the ads. That channel is now largely defunct. He wasn't the only one though. Other channel owners upped his game by bringing a live 1-meter-long crocodile, with its mouth tightly bound to the temple to tease the monkeys. All these videos had been deleted since. Anyway, the point is they were testing to see what would draw the most audience at that time, and teasing monkeys with tricks and setups was popular with them then. Along with Roadkill and the subsequent burials that took place with each baby. That respite, however, was brief, and most of them came back with several new channels as an insurance against the possibility that YouTube might pull the plug on any one of those channels again. If one goes down, at least another one is still earning. I would call that the first explosion. None of them could bother to wait for YouTube to review their channels. So old and new channels combined, I reckon there were over 100 channels by then after the adpocalypse. For example, I was told that the owner of SPBB Lover also ran 3 other channels too. One of them was Java Monkeys. So if most of them came up with 3 or more channels, I think the guesstimate of between 100 to 150 channels was probably not too off the mark. However, most of them were struggling to get ads, as YouTube now requires all new channels to reach a certain watch hours and number of subscribers before they are qualified for the ad program. Everyone was struggling a bit then, as their clickbaiting titles with billion tears and poor babies, no milk were getting less appealing when every channel out there was doing so. And worst, no one has ever shed a tear over these titles. Then came the mysterious death of Brutus. From the highly edited and truncated version of a few videos that had since leaked out, Brutus was poisoned with a metabolic toxin, such as fluoroacetate, commonly known as 1080, an easily obtainable rat poison in developing countries. There aren't many things that could cause death with a protracted course of convulsions and foaming at the mouth, and certainly not the ludicrous nonsense that the cameramen there were trying to sell us. Brutus was being pursued all day long by park guards armed with slingshots and was finished off with a whack to his head. The story simply just didn't fit with what's being shown. They were obviously videoing and was waiting for something to happen, but somehow the resilience of a fit and healthy adult macaque had taken them by surprise. The same scenery from another different angle was depicted in a proper high-definition footage floating around on the net, but it was only 1 minute long only. Some people didn't want us to know the full story, so you have to bear with me this 360p footage instead. Brutus didn't die shortly as expected. He managed to totter a long way to the main entrance at the touristic bay and ruins before drawing his one last breath. The awful state he was in, with convulsions, foaming at the mouth, obviously would cause a panic there, as the first thing people would think of was a rabid animal dying in front of them. What's more ridiculous was the story they tried to sell us in this video, that the guards killed Brutus so as to sell his meat to tourists who craved for a taste of monkey. Honestly, are we really that thick? Who would eat poisoned meat, and more important, a monkey that had been fed on garbage and handouts? They even tried to allude to us that the guards took money from interested tourists in this operation, when what that tourist was doing was just handing his ticket to a guard for inspection only. Brutus, the mighty and loving alpha male, was more manly than those people in the know of his true cause of death. He totted all this way to let the world know that he wasn't to go away that easily. His resilience took these people by surprise, and turned it into something that became too hot for these cameramen to handle that day. And the result was this heavily edited video to wash their hands off it. Otherwise it would have been in 1080p high definition instead of a crappy Motorola era footage. Had he died there on the spot shortly? Goodbye, Brutus, the first casualty when human greed became deadly in the forest of Angkor. This would not be the last time they would try to frame Apsara guards for things happened that defies logic and never makes any sense to us. And I would never have imagined that my stay in Angkor for nearly 3 weeks in 2013 was going to aid in this detective work. I thought I was just there to pursue my hobby of landscape photography.
Đập lực chứ.
That incident with Brutus's death nearly backfired on many of the channels there, as many viewers were left guessing with a bitter taste at what really had happened with Brutus. Fortunately, the breeding season was soon in its full swing and the many new babies saved their viewership. They had been trying, experimenting, and finally, with Laurie's injury, they found out what really holds viewers' attention and get them hooked too. I am not going into the farce with Laurie's injury nor many of her treatment, for they have already been covered. There's however one thing I would like to point out though. Laurie's mum, Amari, does not have cataracts. There's just no cataract one could see, and I really don't believe she is old enough to get diabetes either. In fact, she is a young female in her prime. Old long-tailed look and walk like this one here. Indeed, one could reliably tell how old a long-tailed or rhesus is by looking at the face. Old ones have patches of discoloration and telangiectatic nevi on it. The older they get, the more the face looks mottled. And look at Amari, are there any signs that tell her she is an old female? As a matter of fact, if she only has 2 offspring, Jack and Lori, she really couldn't be more than 8 years old in 2018, as all long-tailed females begin to breed between 3 to 4 years of age. For a long-tailed, she is still in her prime, given they live between 25 to 30 years in the wild. She did, however, has corneal cloudiness from time to time. It's more apparent from certain angle. I am not sure what caused it though, but given how suddenly it happened, it didn't look natural to me. I am not going to delve into what could have caused her apparent difficulty with her eyesight. Mishaps just seems to have happened with this poor female and her daughter at such a speed and frequency in the latter half of 2018 that they were looking north in one episode, they were south again in the next, and often in a worse shape, defying the natural course of events that should have happened in nature. Meanwhile, mishaps also began to happen frequently with other babies and adults too. I am not really sure how many had been wounded or died or simply disappeared since the latter half of 2018 in the forest of Angkor, as I only know of the high-profile ones that people wrote to me. Does this remark reflect fairly what's been happening there, at least in those few months? What has changed there since Lori first got injured over there? Why suddenly all hell has broken loose ever since there in the forest of Angkor? In the wild, long-tailed babies enjoy an 80% survival rate in the first year, and more if they have food brought to them daily. Besides, a baby should seldom get injured, as it should be staying close to its mother at all time. Everything since happens there just never seems to make sense anymore. The sudden rise in mortality and morbidity rates just defies logic. By late 2018, some of these cameramen began to operate from a nondescript temple in neighboring Battambang province as well. Quite many of them seem to now own channels from both places too. I called it the second explosion of channels there. So now we probably have between 200 to 300 channels operating altogether from both places, some more successful than others. Did they turn over a new leaf? These shocking statistics seems to follow these cameramen wherever they go, and worse. Over there it is one horror show with orphan after orphan, and injuries after injuries. I was told that there's never been a single week there without a monkey getting hurt all of a sudden, and just like what has been happening back in the forest of Angkor, we only get to see the aftermath all the time. I am not going to delve into the spate of mysterious death postpartum there, this topic has been dealt with previously. Suffice to say though, according to the literature, one really have to see over 100 live births before one would see a couple of problem at deliveries, like retained placenta, and even that is mostly harmless. Another thing that is often missed is that, for example in Santa's case, the dozen of cameramen there seemed to know well beforehand that something was about to happen to Santa's mother and was waiting for it, after an otherwise seemingly normal regular delivery of a fit and healthy baby. And again, with each death or another rescue mission, more new channels would spring up to cover the same events with similar videos, though shot from a slightly different angle. There must be a reason to it, in addition to earning more ad money from owning multiple channels. Before we delve into this phenomenon, it's important to know how a channel earns ad money. After 3 years of running a channel as a hobby, I have learned that 1. Ad money is not the same across one's audience from different countries. Only audience from developed countries in North America, Europe and a few developed countries like Japan, Hong Kong and Singapore matters. They attract the most ad money, and the difference say between an ad placed in India versus US could be nearly 20 to 30-fold at times. Therefore it's important to attract an audience from developed countries. I suppose that's one reason why almost all these monkey channels from Cambodia usually say they are from the US when they aren't. I think by faking it, it helps to trick the algorithm to drive their videos to an US audience. 2. It depends on the number of ads one placed on their videos. I normally leave this up to YouTube to decide. But one could also place as many ads they want, though YouTube may not put ads there unless a video proves to be popular, receiving thousands of views within the first 24 hours or so.
Oh no!
Currently, monkey videos with death, tragedy, blood and gore attract the most viewership. You might have noticed that such videos from Cambodia usually carry an insane number of ads from the get-go. They know following Laurie's injury what tickles people.
Huh?
Take my channel for example. After 3 years, I think my channel now brings me about $500 to $600 a month on average, and 1/3 more during the period running up to Christmas. It's not a lot of money by Hong Kong standard, as anyone could earn as much in a month working part-time on weekends only at a McDonald's outlet. For myself, if I choose to work as a locum specialist in a government hospital in Hong Kong, the going rate is around $100 per hour, a lot more if I choose to work privately. I am quite happy with that income as it covers my expenditure on running this channel and its affiliated site already. And more, I could use any extra to buy new lenses. And more importantly, replace those that had been broken by monkeys. Anything left I could treat myself and my friends to a decent restaurant in Hong Kong every now and again and pay my other overheads. It's nice to see this channel is finally financially viable to cover itself. And leaves me with a bit of additional pocket money to spend too. And a place to vent my creativity. Since many Cambodian monkey channels share the same audience as mine, I expect them to be earning probably around $1,000 for each channel they own a month, more in their case as they on average put between 3 to 4 ads per one 10-minute video, and more ads if the video is on death, blood and gore.
No!
In the process of looking into Janet's allegedly snare injury and subsequent rescue and treatment, I think I have accidentally stumbled upon the answer why there are so many monkey channels from Cambodia. Moreover, these YouTubers are all more entrepreneurial and cunning than we are. And they have good business acumen too. And more importantly, it is a thriving and highly profitable business for many of these channel owners out there.